The end result, again, was the end goal was getting people's time back. And it took about a week to realize that in order to do that, we were going to need to do a lot of work upstream. And so what that ended up meaning was really getting clear with roles and responsibilities. There was a lot of overlap and redundancy that was unnecessarily created. Everyone was super helpful on the team. They were all trying to help one another out, but that actually created a lot of redundancy in their work. You know, they would log in to try and do something and then realize that it had already been done or whatever. It also created a lot of confusion because there weren't clear lines in the sand in terms of who is responsible for what. And so I think those two things, that's kind of the two-headed snake right there. One is getting explicitly clear with what is this work process? How does this part of the business get done? And then the second question was, and who's responsible for it? And who's the backup? And so once we could get clear on those things, we actually didn't have to do a lot of productivity work because all of the extra work just fell away. And so what they realized and what we all discovered collectively along the way was once we, kind of cut it off upstream, the downstream impact of saving time was almost inevitable. And just from a time perspective, when we started with them, they were working 80 to 90 hour weeks, sometimes more. And by the time we wrapped, they were down to 35 to 40 and still doing the same amount of volume. So I think, that's of course compounded because it was a smaller team. So the numbers are going to be more amplified. But that's the kind of results, that thinking slow and moving slow and intentionally can have. Mm-hmm.